Speaking of the NFC Championship game, one of the guys that's going to help get the Commanders over the hump and in to the Super Bowl is Austin Ekeler, who joins us, presented by IT Cadre for trusted insight from trusted insiders. IT Cadre, where DC Sports insiders share their exclusive perspective. Let's put our hands together for Austin
That's Austin Eckler's music.
That's Austin Ekeler, boys and girls. Put some respect on his damn name. 1% better every single day.
Hey,
Austin,
buddy.
I want to ask you a serious
No
question.
doubt.
No one has ever been harder to tackle than you were on Saturday night in Detroit. So, did you wear your "You Can't Tackle Me" cologne? Did you dip into butter right before the game? Was there Vaseline on your jersey and arms? Why couldn't the Lions tackle you?
Oh, hey, I mean, that's probably why I've been around the league for as long as I have. Is one of my strong points is being pretty elusive. It's not to say they couldn't tackle me, but I definitely don't make it easy. That's for sure.
Damn right about that. That was awesome. You were incredible.
I think it was your first touch of the game. It was very I think you'll understand what I'm saying. It was like Friday Night Lights movie real moment where he kind of did this full speed spin out of a tackle and then completely stopped for a second. Oh, I'm still going. And then kept going. Yep. It looked like it was like a director made you do that cut 3 times and they shot it in the perfect way.
I've hit the spin move. I think, I caught the ball out in space, and I was actually surprised how wide open it was. So I started getting vertical, and then there was 2 guys kind of coming to compression tackle me from each side. Hung her right. One guy got my leg, spun out of that, kind of reset my feet, started going forward again, and then De'Ami Brown gets pushed down into my legs, tried to Heisman hurdle him, and then he ended up getting me on the ground. So friendly fire got me on that one.
So, Austin, take me back to before this game. Detroit's great. I mean, they earned the number 1 seed. They're awesome. They've been awesome all year long. The place is going bananas. There's a confidence, though. There's an attitude, whatever you want to call it with you guys, where nothing's too big, nothing's too scary. What's the mood like before the game going up against this great opponent who's now in your rearview mirror? But take me back there to Saturday night before kickoff. What are you guys feeling? What's being said?
Yeah, for us, it was, hey, we're out here hunting. That is the mindset. We are hunting to go earn, some respect on our team. Really, people are saying, this is, good enough for the Commanders. We didn't expect anything from them this year anyway. And so for us, that's all just crowd noise. For us, we are hunting to go win games. We are hunting to continue to go prove, hey, that we have some heavy hitters out here. And that's the mindset this week as well. And it's go out and let's hunt. Right, the Eagles are now on our way. They're another team that, kind of like the Lions, have proven themselves over the past, few years, established themselves, and we're on the same type of mindset as well.
Austin, what is the key to being able to go to an environment that's that loud and that raucous and not allowing it to phase you? You guys weren't having false start penalties all game long. You answered the bell time and time again. I mean, dating back really to week 3 in Cincy, and I remember in the first half you were such a big part of that as well. You guys just kept getting up off the mat. That was an electric atmosphere. What are the difference between the teams that can handle that and the teams that can't?
Yeah, there's some perks into our offense that are kind of built in for going into loud environments. And, from day one, we were a no-huddle offense. So guess what? I don't even have to talk to anybody out there on the field, and we can already run our offense. Say with Jaden, he can call the plays. We don't have to say a word. Everything's on signals. And so, I mean, it can be, we could, have the loudest stadium, wherever that is. And it doesn't matter for us, right? For us, it's an energy. It's an energy that, hey, everyone's loud, excited. That's great because, we're using this energy as fuel for us. But for us, we can get lined up and operate at the same pace because we don't have to get in a huddle and talk to each other like some of these teams do. So, for us, it really doesn't matter. I think it's fun because, hey, everyone's going crazy. It's loud. It's like I said, an energy that we can feed into. And I think our team does pretty well in that environment.
Austin Ekeler with this here on G&D. Yeah, the fact you're going to the NFC title game kind of speaks to that, Austin. Is there more pressure when you're playing an offense like that? And what I mean is it would feel to me a pudgy zilch that can't do anything you guys can do. But, hey, they're going to score every time. We have to. Did you feel that dynamic at all where that Detroit offense is really good? You guys are really good too, but was there an extra added pressure that you guys kind of had to match them?
I mean, the pressure is already at a maximum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you could add more pressure. It would just feel the same at this point. Especially where we're at right now. I mean, it's the ultimate pressure, and that's where it kind of feels like pretty much the whole way through the playoffs is hey, advance or go home. And for us, yeah, we know that, hey, they're a heavy-hitting offense. Well, guess what? We are too. And we kind of showed even with the game versus Tampa, like keeping them off the field. We know they did a really good job with time of possession. And how do you win the time of possession battle? Well, it means moving the sticks and not turning the ball over. And so that's something that's been emphasized for us the entire year and really showed up in both of our playoff games so far.
Austin Ekeler on Grant and Danny here on The Fan going into the NFC Championship game, just like we all expected in year one of this regime. Running the football has been such a talking point, not only in this segment, but for everybody for the last several weeks. You guys just hadn't really been able to get the ground game going. But, man, did that change in a big way. B-Rob looked like he was shot out of a cannon. You had a lot of success. How do you carry that over now against probably a tougher front like Philadelphia is going to bring to the table?
Yeah, you just go back and look at the matchups. I hate to beat the dead horse here, and I know talk about matchups and looking at different game plans and based off of matchups and things like that every week, but that's the game we play. Where do we feel like we can exploit some of their weaknesses, and where do we want to stay away from things that they might be better at than we are? And so I know, just for myself, looking at the linebackers, and then when I played them, I've been able to, have success out and get in space. So it's like, okay, that's probably going to be something we're trying to do. Hey, let's get Austin in space. And that's kind of one of been my strengths for, as long as I've been in the league. And so it'll be more things like that. How do we draw up plays for our players and their strengths? And same thing in the run game. Are we going to, attack the edges? Are we going to attack, at the middle? Are we going to use some misdirection? Are we going to use some guard pull stuff? And it'll probably be a combination of that because you want to keep them on their toes. But that's the best part about, going through the week and looking at the game plan and sitting down with Cliff and everyone else and, deciding, okay, these types of players are going to be running the red zone. This is kind of open field. These are third down runs. And just kind of seeing it all come together is pretty cool to be a part of.
Austin, only real bummer from the game is Sam Cosby going down. Just stinks. You feel for the guy. As you guys are, experiencing such a high, what's it like in game when there's a change in front of you as a running back, looking at that offensive line and then kind of going forward? How does it change you guys' approach or what you might be able to do this weekend?
Yeah, it's obviously unfortunate, for anyone, to have significant injury like that. And it definitely changes. It changes because that was one of our starters, and he was a starter for a reason. Signed a contract this year, so really established himself as one of the dominant, guards in the league. And when you lose a guy like that, it's definitely tough. And Trent will step up. He filled that role when he went out and did his job. We're able to continue to find success running the ball and continue to hold on to that lead. And it's the next man up mentality. But yeah, just as far as we go, Sam's still there with us, in the building, cheering us on, like still has his energy in there. So we know we'll have that from him, but, won't have to see him on the field, which is unfortunate, but also, part of the game, unfortunately.
Austin, are you at a point where nothing Jaden Daniels can do impresses you or kind of takes you aback anymore? I know the rest of the country is just getting used to him, but on that stage to play the game he did, even for those of us that have kind of seen that become old hat, that was a new, amazing height for him.
Yeah, I think this is why the NFL is so popular, is because even though you're expecting, amazing things, when you still see them, you're still amazed. You're like, dang, that was a really great play. It's the same thing with Jaden, like he's established himself, even this early in his career as, a dynamic player that continues to make plays and is flashy and has poise and, can get the job done. And even when we know that, and when he does it, you're still like, wow, that was cool. And it's the same thing as being his teammate, man. It's been such a great pleasure to be, in the backfield with him, watching him do his thing and helping him make some plays out there.
What's gotten into Jerry Rice? De'Ami Brown.
Hey man, he's put himself in a position. Hey, he's proven that he's got what it takes to continue to play at a high level, and so that's what he's going out there doing. He's been showing out for us, these past couple weeks, and really putting a statement on his name of being a playmaker in big games.
When did you guys know? I think every team gets together with optimism. You guys are pro athletes. You're not built to think of negative things. You're always looking ahead, and you keep driving, and your work ethics is so incredible. Well, when did you get the feeling, Austin, just you personally, where you go, you know what? This isn't just a good team. This is special. Like, when did you know?
Well, I think there's levels to it, or maybe different stages to it. I think, during training camp and going through that type of environment, you start to see kind of the philosophies of Dan Quinn and the coaching staff of, okay, this is how we're going to run our team. This is how we're going to talk about brotherhood, coming together. These are kind of the expectations of what practice should look like. And when you start to kind of build those fundamental blocks of what the team looks like, you can kind of start to see, okay, what kind of season this is going to be. As far as like, am I going to enjoy coming into work, or is it like, oh gosh, like, is everyone tight, or is it relaxed, or is it like, what is that feeling? And so, from early on, it was set up as a feeling of, okay, hey, we have this brotherhood. We're all bought in. If you're bought into the brotherhood, right, you're going to be accepted. You're going to really love being here. And so that's pretty much what our roster has done. And then now we put that on the field, and hey, how can we adapt around our new offense, our new quarterback, and really start to put this together? Because we don't really have an understanding, because there's so many new guys and new offense and all this new stuff. We don't really have an understanding of our capabilities yet, so we got to go continue to build that. So that's what we've been doing, and we continue to push our own bar forward of the standard and the expectation and the capabilities. And that comes down to, again, the fundamentals of the brotherhood that we have, and then now put the talent on top, put the scheme on top, and we've just continued to push ourselves forward, and we've gotten to new stages of new expectations for ourselves, because we've shown up and shown that our capabilities are actually pretty far out as far as what we were able to do. So it's been pretty awesome, and kind of a developing type of process for us to see how special this team has been.
Austin Ekeler, presented by IT Cadre, joining us on Grant and Danny. Austin, I know all eyes for you are on now the Philadelphia Eagles, but I am curious just to get your thoughts. In the news over the last 24 hours, Anthony Lynn's name has come back up as a head coaching candidate with the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury's been in the mix as well. Two of your coaches and guys that have helped you this season. Just curious to get your thoughts. You know Lynn very well from your time with the Chargers. About whether or not you feel like he should get another shot, and what kind of head coach he would make if he got another run, and then Kingsbury as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I can't even speak on it right now. I don't know. That's like me talking free agency, and we're still, trying to win games out here. And so for me, it's like, hey, that's great. I'm hoping you guys have some opportunities. Maybe you'll take them, maybe not. But right now, hey, help us win this dang game. Like, that's where I need your focus. And so, in the future, if that's what they decide to do and they want to go pursue those, they probably would both make great opportunity or a great fit for somebody. But like, hey, let's focus now. Let's focus now. Focus here.
Along those lines, there's been a lot of talk about maybe changing the way that the coaching cycle works, where like you can't interview anybody until after the Super Bowl, because that way, there's not a disadvantage for the guys that, like Cliff, I think, is doing it the right way. He basically said, I'm not talking to anybody until the season's over for us. Do you think they should do it that way?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Like, if someone's interviewing for a job and they're like, oh, I'll take it. And it's like, well, we actually want to interview other people too. And they're like, well, this guy is willing, and so should we take them? He's already here. We don't have to compete as much now. It kind of, I feel like, makes it an environment that's, like you said, not as fair for the people that are still in the actual, in the tournament, because you can't expect those guys to be able to even have a chance to go and, do interviews and stuff like that, because they got to focus on their team, which they should be. So I think it should be, something a little bit more like kind of like a free agent type date, where it's like, hey, here's the date. After that, conversations can open. You can still have maybe some preliminary talks of who's interested type thing like that, but maybe no official interviews. So I don't know. That's just me talking out of, something I don't really know too much about.
Yeah, I think it's smart, man. I think you're right.
I think you could do it the day or two after the season, and because it is a lot of times as these coaches, coordinators for the really good teams like Washington, it's the best teams ever. The teams that don't lose, the teams that go months without losing, the teams that are insurmountable juggernauts like the Commanders, they're the best ever. Those teams, then the guys, they get screwed over a little bit sometimes. It does happen.
I could see that being a thing. I think coaching, in the NFL, is kind of handled really by ownership in that side. Like, there's no union or anything like that, so it's kind of the Wild West over there. They don't have to say how much they're paying people or anything like that. So, it's a whole topic of discussion that us as players luckily don't have to get involved in, because it's just probably even more of a mess. But yeah, so hopefully they get it figured out over there.
Austin, one listener question here. What's it like playing a team for a third time?
Actually, I was talking to Jerzon Newton in the locker room about that. He's like, man, third time playing these guys. I'm like, hey, well, at least now we know who they are. You know, like we know their players. You know, we know what they're about. We know their strengths, weaknesses, things like that. So game planning, I'm sure for the coaches too, is a little bit easier because you know what to expect. And so yeah, I think it's really cool because you know it's a team that's in our division, and now we're kind of like, hey, the new kid on the block, the new arrival. So I know it was like for with the Chargers and KC, we were always chasing them, and now we're still chasing that team that's kind of been in that seat, and now we have an opportunity to knock them off in one of the biggest games of the year.
One more IT Cadre listener question for Austin Ekeler. Somebody wants to know have you used the VR technology and put on those goggles that Jaden wears? We had a guy on yesterday telling us all about how he does this for hours every week, and it prepares him for the game. It's amazing technology. Have you actually worn those goggles at all and looked at what it looks like?
I have not. I imagine it's a little different for running back, though, than it is for quarterback. Because, I mean, for me, I'm reading different gaps and things like that, and I have to run a quarterback. You can at least, stand there and kind of get a feel of the front and stuff like that, maybe some coverage and things that are, beyond the line of scrimmage. So, no, I haven't gotten into it, but it sounds like, it's been popping up a lot lately. I don't know if it's because, maybe media's trying to like pinpoint like, man, why is this kid so good? But if it's something that's really helping him, he's really using it like that, then, good for him. I hope he keeps doing it.
Awesome as always, man. Really cool that you guys are going to the conference championship game and we get to talk to you about it, dude. This is great. Keep it up, man. It's been fun.
Let's do it, man. Let's keep it going.
One more.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Playing in the Super Bowl. Austin Ekeler, awesome all season long, presented by IT Cadre, with us here on Grant and Danny. IT Cadre's trusted insight, helping leaders of the nation's most important organizations understand complexity, align efforts, and make the best data-driven decisions to achieve success. IT Cadre, your vision, our purpose.